Hey y'all, we're going to be talking about part two of how to create your own path to advancement. When you are wanting to advance in your role, it's really, really important for you guys to assess where you are, right? Because you can find yourself just being so focused on the next step that you want. It's like you still haven't been able to assess where you are. And I think that's really, really important because you don't want yourself to be so blinded by the things that you want and you really haven't sat down to really identify those actual skill gaps, right? And you haven't saw what are those spots in you that are weak. And I think that's really important because, and it all depends on what is that next move for you? Like, what does that next move look like for you? Do you even know what that next move is? And another point I made, I was talking about how when you are wanting to think about advancing in your role, you got to be even clear on what that looks like. Promotion is not always the only way to grow because for a lot of people, where you are now, if you even look at the role that you have now and you even start to even see what that next role is for you, you may not even really want that. But sometimes what tends to happen is we just fall into oh, this is what is next for me, right? And so you're not even really clear if that is a role that you even want. You are not even sure if that role is even in alignment with your goals. And so you tend to just go with, oh, this seems right, other than really just being able to know what is right for you. Because just because something is right, just because a path is a path that you've seen most folks go, that does not mean that that is the path for you. I really want you guys to free yourselves from what you think your career path should look like. Okay, you have more control over that, right? I don't want you guys to find yourself in this box to where you feel like, oh, I have to go this way. No, you can forge your own path. I've talked about this in some past live streams where I've talked about it's important for you to even know that when you accept these jobs, what is the expectation? And please know, you guys know I was in HR for over 10 years. I fell into HR. Like, I was not one that was like, oh, I did not have big dreams. I did not even think about this as a path for me. I started off in HR when I was 21, 22 years old. I started off just really maintaining employees' files, just strictly database, right? And so at that point, I still was like, I'm just here because I need to pay my bills. I had no plan. I was young, but the more I started to be exposed to that skill set and I started to see what other people around me did, I was like, oh, okay. And so I really just went head in. I went head in and I went head in fast to the point to where I was only there for about a year. And my boss was already training me on how to hire people. So after being there maybe like a year and a few months, I was already hiring people in. Now, when I first started, I was like, child, I don't know what this is, right? But it's something that I just really grew to love. And so from that point on, my whole career is going up, up, and up, and up, and up. So, I wanted to say that because sometimes when you do, for every job, there may not be an actual expectation. You may find a job, you're like, girl, I'm just here to survive for right now, right? But you never know what opportunities can come from that. But I do think that even if you start off unsure, you need to start to get clear. Because once I saw myself starting to exceed in that role, I got super clear. I was like, I started to research, okay, where could this job go? And the crazy thing was I grew so fast and I was able to advance so fast in there. It was really important that I knew what that path looked like for me. Now, me having to start my own business, child, I don't even know how I got there. Okay, but that's a whole nother story. But but I want to say this because sometimes when you're not sure on what that next step could be like for you, you can find yourself being a little insecure, right? Or like, ooh, I'm really not sure on those things that I want. I always tell people, if you're not sure about what you want in your career, get clear on what you want in your life. Because then you're really able to base those moves on, is this going to allow me to live the life that I want? I think I literally say that every live stream, right? Being able to get clear on, is this career move going to allow you to be able to live the life that you want? And so even if you're not always clear on what that next move is as far as a job or a role, start getting clear on what it is in your life. Meaning, like, do you want to save up? Because the reality is, if you work at a job and you are not being paid enough, you won't ever have the opportunity to save money because you don't have enough money, right? And so it's not about having clear goals. It's about you being able to identify what is the direction you want to move in. So on yesterday, I was talking about you guys being able to assess where you are now. It's so important to make sure that your goals is in alignment with these career moves that you desire to make. When you're thinking about advancing in your career, a promotion is not always the answer. I also talked about it's hard to move forward, right? You cannot move forward until you know where you stand. So if you're not even clear on where you stand, it's going to feel impossible to even move forward. Everybody is in a rush to always think about what is next when you haven't even gotten clear on where you are. So don't be so in a rush to figure out what's next for me when you're still unsure of where you are now. So start to really think about that. Am I really happy in the role I have? Yes, I have been in this field for the last 5 to 8 years, but am I really happy here? Because you could think, okay, what should be next for me is that I should move and advance in the role that I am now. But what you could be wanting is a complete career change. And that's why I said don't think that you being able to advance in your role is always the best thing for you. And don't be afraid to think outside of the box. But also, like I was saying, guys, it's really, really important for you guys to get clear. And the last thing that I said right before the live stream ended, I was talking about how a lot of you guys are in a time in your life to where you are in this place that should have been a season. And I was talking about you can find yourself stuck in a place that you was not meant to stay there. But it's very important for you guys to understand again where you are. It's going to be easier, right? When you start to understand where you are now, right? And where it is that you want to go. But a lot of you guys are stuck in seasons that was only supposed to be a season. You was only supposed to pass through that job and you find yourself stuck there. But that happens when I say it all the time, when you're just so head in on doing a good job that you're not keeping the focus of, does this align with my goals? Do you even have any goals? Even right now, I want you guys to ask yourself, is the job that I'm in now, was this something that I was supposed to just pass through? Or was this a place that I was supposed to just plant myself? Because it's one thing to pass through and it's another thing to plant yourself. So ask yourself that, right? And I've been there too, because what tends to happen is you get comfortable. And so now you are trying to just plant yourself and you find yourself with this desire to advance in your role. And it just don't feel right because it was never meant for you to stay there. But sometimes we can just take the road that is just easy. Sometimes we tend to just take the road that is available. And that ain't what you want, because what is available and what you want don't always align, right? And so what you don't want to do is you don't want to keep trying to build a career that you don't want. You don't want to keep moving in the same path that you don't want. And this happens a lot of times with people who are smart. This happens a lot of times with people who just do well at anything that they do. And I'm one of those people. I am not trying to brag, but I do well at anything that I do. And it's not because I'm just so smart. It's just because I just go hard at everything that I do. I put my heart in everything I do. So it really doesn't matter what I do. I'm going to do well. But sometimes for people like me, it's easy for us to get stuck in stuff. If you're one who you go hard in everything that you do, go hard. I go hard in everything. Yeah, it's to the point, even if I don't like something, I go hard in it. I've learned that it's not about me, but I've learned to just, okay, let's just get the job done. And that's not always a good thing, right? That is not always a good thing because you can find yourself getting stuck, okay? But sometimes I can get more committed to the work than me. And I think that was a word for somebody. I get more committed to the work and the goal more than I am to myself. I will wear out my stay. Okay. When I say wear out my stay, meaning I can stay too long on something, because now it's more about I gotta prove to myself that I can do this. And when I say go harder, I don't mean like work harder. I mean like I just go all in. Like my mind is just all in the things that I do. Like even with the clients I serve, like I just go in, because for me, for one, I do think it's how I was raised. Like my mom was the exact same way. Like she goes hard in everything that she does, and she literally trained me to be the same way, because she was just like, for one, I was never taught to be like lazy. And I'm not saying if your mindset is not this, then you're lazy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying how my brain is wired. Alicia, everything you do, you go 100% in. And I don't think that's always the best answer, but that's just how I was raised. And so a lot of times when I would have to quit something, I would feel like I was quitting on myself. Now, I know I'm not the only one who felt like this. I feel like if, with a job I quit or something or anything, I would feel like I failed. And I would take these things really personal. But I had to learn when it comes to corporate, that mindset does not serve me. And that mindset does not serve you on this side. It does not serve you on this side. If anything, when you start feeling like, oh, if I quit, then that means I failed. Child, sometimes it's not about giving up. Sometimes it's about moving on. And you got to be able to separate those two things, because we will literally, I'm the same way. We will put these things as the same thing. Oh, if I leave, that means that I just, no, these are two separate things. You having to quit and you having to move on is two separate things. I had to learn that. Right? Like, just because I've decided to move on from something, it doesn't mean that I failed. There are times when I've had to just walk away from something. I'm talking about jobs, I'm talking about relationships, all of this. Sometimes I had to walk away from things that I knew this was not going to serve me. And the hardest thing is when you know that you can fix it. But sometimes we can get so into this Superman complex of thinking that we can save everything, and also that we have to save everything. Child, you ain't gotta save nothing. And if you are saving something, save yourself, right? But we get so caught up in this, I gotta be the one to fix my team. I gotta be the one to always make sure that things go right. Now, there are certain things that lies in your job role. I get it, right? But sometimes we find ourselves overextending ourselves even beyond what we've been hired to do, because we got to prove something to the people that we work with. Then we have to prove something to ourselves. Let's take this pressure off. Why do we put so much pressure on ourselves? Why? You literally try to show up for everybody else when you ain't even learned how to show up for yourself. How is this possible? You literally trying to show up for everybody else, but you have not even yet mastered how to show up for yourself. And so what kind of career do you think that you are, this career that you think that you'll have, when you're just pouring out, and you ain't giving yourself nothing? No wonder you don't know those goals. No wonder you don't know the things that you want. You don't even give yourself time to think about what you want. What you want doesn't even come to mind. The first thing that comes to mind is, oh, what's going to make them happy? What is it that I have to do for them? Oh, what will they think? It's never what is it that I need? What are my expectations? What are the things in my life that I need to make more time for? It's never that. It's what is it that everybody else needs? But I had to learn, the more I show up for me, the better I can serve other people. It's a saying, you guys heard it all the time. You cannot pour from a cup that's empty. You can't do it, right? And so I myself had to learn, hey, the more I show up for me, the more I can serve the people around me, because that's really what it is. It is service. When you find yourself at a job, you are serving with your skill set. But it's so hard to serve. And I'm the kind of person too. I love to serve people. I do. I love to serve people. I love to talk to people, as y'all can tell. I love to help people. I love it. But when you get burnt out, you'll feel like, I don't like people. I don't want to look at people. When you find yourself tired, when you find yourself overextended, it makes you start to really just doubt who you are. It makes you start to just be unsure of who you are. Because I know that I love to serve people. I know that. It happened in times in my life where I was burnt out. I was exhausted. I had overextended myself. I was a huge people pleaser. It was to the point that I said, I don't like being around other people. The thought of serving people just overwhelmed me. When I once had a heart to serve, I want you to ask yourself now, if what you are now, is that who you are? Or who you are now is just who you need to be to survive? That was the word. I'm going to ask it again. Is what you are now who you really are? Or is who you are now what you need to be in order to survive? Because when I was in survival mode, I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't want to be around my husband. I didn't want to be around my child. Though I love them, I was just burnt out. I had reached capacity. I had overextended myself. I had said too many yeses and not enough no's. I had overextended myself. And so now the person that I saw myself to be was somebody who didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to serve anybody. I would see my phone ring and get overwhelmed. I would get a text message and say, I don't even have the capacity to even read this text message because I know that somebody needs something from me and I don't have anything else to give. I had reached capacity and I had lost that servant's heart because I was just trying to survive. But that was a season for me. And I believe that God really showed me a lot in that season. And God had to show me, just because you say no, that doesn't take anything from you. I said, is what you are now, is that who you really are? Or is that what you need to be in order to survive? I had lost that heart to serve. And then on top of that, and it's crazy how our emotions work, because I did not have the heart to serve anymore. At the same time, I was trying to fight for my own life. I was trying to survive and stay afloat. And when I say afloat, I mean not get depressed, not start having thoughts that I know that I shouldn't be having. So I was trying to stay afloat above all of this. And then on top of that, guilt came in because the guilt told me, man, they need you. That guilt would say, man, you can't show up for them in the capacity that you once did. So now I'm dealing with just all these emotions of I can't operate as I once did. So I was feeling very insecure, had a lot of self-doubt. But I also had feelings. I was feeling overwhelmed. I felt like I have now overextended myself. Now I feel guilt and shame because I cannot serve the way that I used to serve. And then now bitterness has now dropped in, because it's like, y'all always want something from me, but y'all don't give anything back to me. I'm just talking about like, it was a whirlwind of emotions that I was dealing with. But like I said before, even in that season, God was teaching me something. God was teaching me something. He was showing me, Alicia, your worth is not in what you do for other people. He was showing me you can't do it all. I know that we like to ride on that vibe and that mode that, hey, I can handle it. No, there are going to be seasons in your life that you can't handle everything. There will be times when you're going to have to say no to some things, and it does not take away from your value or your worth. But sometimes you do have to go into this mode of, hold on, I got to be able to show up for me so I can show up for you. And so now I'm in a much better place to where I'm able to serve my family, serve my friends, serve my church, serve you guys. And I feel good serving because I do what I need to do to make sure that I show up for me. So if that was helpful, I want you to drop the word helpful in the chat box for me, because I know I'm not the only one out here who has dealt with something like that. You can't be everything to everybody. And so what you got to do is you got to be able to remove your value in that validation off of, I'm the backbone. I'm the one that you come to. No, right? It has to come to a point where you say, you know what, I can't save everybody, and I'm not trying to save everybody. But what I will do is I will make sure that I am the best me so I can best serve. And so when I started to take off those expectations of what I thought it meant to be valuable or to be helpful, I got free from that. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to be able to rest in you are enough. Even on your worst day, you are enough. Even on the days when you feel overwhelmed, you are enough. Even on those days when you're not sure, when you're not clear, you are enough, right? And that definitely has to come from you being validated by something else other than what you produce. I'm going to say it again. You have to get to a point where you are validated by something else other than what you give. And a lot of us hold our value in what I can give, because there will be seasons where you can't give much. There is going to be a season where God has you in this little bubble because God is wanting to work on some things in you. I mean, sometimes when the Lord got to work on some things, child, he be having you shut in. You be like, I can't be as available right now because the Lord got some things in me that He's doing right now. Let go of that guilt. I don't know how we was talking about advancement. Miss Shelley said, "Thank you for your transparency." Absolutely, I've been through some stuff, right? And so, whenever I am sharing stuff with you guys, it's not that I'm trying to like look down on you and say you wrong. It's like I've been there. Like, hey, let me bring you up here, friend, because I've been there. And one thing that I could not be afraid of is doing the work. I thank God for giving me the power to even be able to acknowledge these things. Yeah, like you're like this girl saying a whole lot about God. I mean, but and it's because I cannot talk about this change and not include him, because he was the reason this change even happened. So it's one of those things, like God had to give me the strength, for one, to be honest about myself, because it does take a level of strength. It takes a level of just courage to take an honest look at yourself. And a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to take an honest look at themselves and be honest and say, you know what, I'm the reason why I feel like this. It doesn't mean that there wasn't any outside things that happened to start it. It's one thing when you let something happen to you. It's another thing when you let something change you. You cannot affect what happens to you, but you can affect what you allow to change you. I'm going to say that again. You cannot help what happens to you. You do have power over what you let change you. And a lot of people don't want to hold themselves accountable, and they say, oh, I'm this way because this happened to me. You let that change you. And so when God, he gave me the power to be able to know that I don't have to let these things affect me the way that they do, it changed my whole mind. And it began to teach me and show me that I'm not as weak as I think I am. I'm not as powerless as I think I am. And so once that became clear to me, I didn't have any more excuses. I didn't have any more fingers to point the blame to. But I started to understand and realize, God, if you allow this to happen to me, it happened to me for a reason. And if God ever allows anything to happen to you, trust me, it's because he wants to make you better from that thing. And so this is what this is about: taking back the power in your life and taking back the power in your career, which all ties back into the topic. Let's say, wait, I'm gonna try to bring this around back again. It's all about you being able to create your own path, and even in your career, you got that power too. Like, you guys are not so under the thumb of your boss so much that you cannot build a career that you want. And the power that you have in your career is this: you may not be able to change what happens to you. You can't change if your boss don't like you, because there are times when your boss may not like you. I've been there. I did everything right. I'm the kind of person, I don't like being in environments that are tense, right? I don't like to be in environments where things feel off, or I just don't like the environment. So if I even think there is an issue between us, I'm going to you, right? Not like, no, but I'm going to like, hey, is everything okay between us? I want to know if there was anything that I did that maybe you didn't receive in the right way. That's called maturity. When you can lead a conversation with, did I do something wrong? Now that's a live stream within itself. That is maturity. When you can start a conversation off with, is there anything that I did or said that could have not, you need to. Remember, we are adults. And when you are mature, you have no problem with thinking, maybe it was me. Not saying that I just put the blame on me, but I open my mind to the possibility that maybe I did something that I am not aware of. That's called maturity, okay? But there was one boss, it was literally nothing I could do. And she was the most passive, aggressive, the most nice, nasty person I think I've ever met in my life. So, and you guys know, if somebody is passive aggressive, it's hard to have conversations with them because they will literally gaslight you the whole time, right? What do you mean? No, everything between us is great, Alicia. Okay, hold on. I know there's a problem. I overheard her to say something about me, but it all boiled down to she was just intimidated that I was so good at my job that I really did her job better than her. In times like that, you can't make them like you. And I say that because the reason that they don't like you ain't got nothing to do with you. Is their insecurities. And that's why I said when I started this live stream, if you're not able to advance in your role, don't take that personal. Don't start to, again, you do need to be aware of where you are and maybe what are those gaps, right? But if you know that you know everything that you need to be doing and you are exceeding expectations, right? And you will literally start to doubt yourself. Like, is there something wrong? I did it. I was like, what am I doing? I'm like, I usually do well with being able to build relationships. I said, what's going on? It wasn't me. So there might be times when it could very well be your boss, and it could be times where it could be you. But that's why it takes a level of you being mature and being self-aware to be able to identify what is the problem. So in that case, I wasn't going to be able to advance in that role that I had. The power I had was, hey, all right, Lord, should I stay here? Because I was like, y'all feel like I'm having a whole sermon. God is not going to always want you to be removed out of something you don't like immediately. And this is why it's important to acknowledge the Lord, because we think every time something bad happens to us, it's just bam, I'm gone. God had to teach me some things. God had to teach me how to serve under somebody like that. Now, again, this was just me. I'm not giving you advice. I don't know where you at. But he had to teach me how to be able to serve under somebody like that with an excellent spirit. Now, I know that I know y'all don't hear this. I know y'all don't, because baby, these people will tell y'all, girl, you better quit, girl. You ain't got to put up with that. And I think sometimes that's the right mindset. But again, maturity is going to always let you be able to see another perspective different than yours. So, but God said, I got to teach you some things first, because you only want to do good and do right when the environment is right. You only want to do right when the environment is right. But God said, I want to bring you to a place where you can do right and operate in an excellent spirit, even when things not going right. Who gonna receive that word, right? He had to teach me that. And y'all, that is where character is built. That is where integrity is built. In moments when you're not being done right. in moments when things are not going the way you think that they should go, in moments when you maybe have to serve under hard leadership, that is where your character is developed. That is where you learn how to be a true servant, because it's easy to serve when things going right. It's easy to serve when everybody around you is it's easy, right? But what about the moments when things ain't going right? Now, again, this is not to give you advice. I don't know what's going on, because I do think it's times that you should go, right? But I'm also am a firm believer in, don't run from your growth. If you want to be able to lead a team of people, you're going to have to learn how to be able to lead beyond their personality. You have to be able to lead beyond somebody's personality. And if people's personality keeps stopping you, you're not going to be effective in leadership, right? Because a good leader can see beyond somebody's personality and see the need there, and see the need that this person needs help. That's what it means to lead, is that you can see beyond their bad attitude and still meet the need. Yeah, I feel like I don't even know how to get back to the topic we talking about. But I had to learn, God, Alicia, I'm not going to snatch you up out of everything that you don't like. But I got to be able to teach you how to be able to deal with things and not pop off and not get an attitude. And guess what? I did leave there. But I left such on good terms. I left with a peace in my spirit that I knew that I did it the right way. But again, it takes a level of maturity that people don't want to have. Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with you getting a job. There's nothing wrong with you being able to find a new job. I'm just saying, look at what the problem is, or look at what God is trying to do in you. We don't have to burn any bridges on our way out. I'm sorry. I don't believe in you having to burn a bridge just because you want a new job. I don't think that you got to act a fool on your way out. I don't think that, because it has to get to a point that my response is not about you. It's about me. It's about my character. It's about me. It's not about you. And when your response is still, it's like when you base your response upon how somebody else does, that's a lack of maturity. That is a lack of self-control over you, right? And this is why people don't see the advancement in their careers that they desire to see, is because it's still all about them. At the end of the day, these people hired you to meet their objectives. Now, again, you the power is within you. You have the right to decide if I want to use my skill set here to help them to reach their goals. That is the power that you have. But also look at, they hired me to operate under their values, which is why it's good that you find a company that is in alignment with your values. They hired you to operate under their values. You come underneath their rules. So if you want all of this free, I want to do whatever I want to do, baby, go start a business. And even then, I have a full-time business. I still have clients to serve. I still don't have the mindset of, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I don't care what nobody say, baby. I serve my clients. So there is in no world that you will live in to where you don't have to abide by some kind of rules, some kind of actual system. When you riding down the street and there is a speed limit, baby, that's a rule. Don't feel like you lose yourself because you have to operate under rules. And I think that people don't realize what your career is. Having a career is you having a skill set where you're able to fix a problem that they have. Now, you have the power to decide what kind of problems you desire to fix and who you want to fix them for. But once they hire you on, they don't own you. Absolutely not. But you can't come on this job and acting like you could literally do whatever you feel like doing. Right. But that is what character is. You guys hired me to do a job. I'm going to do that job for you, and I will do it well. Now, if the values that you have and the values that they have don't align, then you won't be excited, right? And it could be time to move on. But ask yourself, is this discontentment I feel, is it because the expectations that I have and the expectations that they have don't align anymore? Or is it because I'm just always trying to do my own thing? Now I know, click off. You guys hear it all the time. You cannot be a good leader if you're not a good follower. You got to be able to have tough conversations with somebody who don't agree with you and still keep your character right. Because a good character will take you further than your skills will ever take you. People will invest so much time in getting the right skills and doing all these other things, but you won't invest no time into fixing your character. This is why you can't keep a job. This is the reason why you have issues with every job you ever had. It is a character issue. And I can speak so deeply to this because I've been there. To the point, it was what God said, I'm trying to open up doors for you, but you in the way. It was to the point God to say, I can't bless miss. I can't bless miss. Because he said, if I pour down the blessings that I have for you right now, you'll get worse. Because you'll start thinking that the way that you are is right. And so sometimes God will withhold things from you. Not because he don't want to, see you happy. God knows the things that we need. He desires to see us happy, but sometimes he can't bless mess. Sometimes God is like, I got so many things for you, but you're not in a place to be able to sustain them. So many people want to hit their goals, but nobody wants to work on themselves so they can sustain them. And that takes a level of maturity. That takes a level of self-awareness, and that takes a level of being sick and tired. Like, God, I'm sick and tired of keeping my blessings. You say, God, I am tired of just not being able to have the career and the life that I want. And God, I realize it's me. Now, this was not supposed to be this kind of live stream. But these are the things that God had to show in me. And again, you get to the point to where you say, you know what? It's me. I'm standing in my own way. And so what I want you guys to even think about now is, and just ask yourself, am I keeping myself from the things that I say that I want? Like, are you working against yourself? And if you are, like, I call that self-sabotage. When you really work against the things that you say that you want. For instance, and it doesn't have to always be like, oh, something wrong with you. It could be like, Alicia, I want to advance in my role, but you haven't had no conversations. You haven't talked to nobody. How are they supposed to know? Or you're like, Alicia, well, I did share that. Okay, when? Oh, about, I don't know, 7 months ago. Has your mind changed about that? No. Well, that's what it looks like if you express that you wanted to advance. And the last conversation that you had with your boss was 7 months ago. It looks like your mind has changed, and they probably think that too. And you be thinking, oh, they don't want to do it for me. No, they just don't think that you want it no more. We got to be real with ourselves. I'm telling you, look, the thing that you don't want to confront about yourself, on the other side of that thing is your raise, is your next level, is the job that you want, everything that you trying to get around. Look, everything that you want is over here. But this thing that you don't want to confront about yourself is standing in the way. And as soon as you confront it, admit it, and own it, child, you will be unstoppable. Unstoppable. I know a lot of what I say is not what like average people in my field say. And that's why a lot of time on LinkedIn, maybe I'll be having to get off here because I just be like, you guys are not setting people up to be successful. You want them to feel good. But sometimes your results come from you not feeling good for a moment. I'm not saying to have a life. It's to have a life where you just sad, right? But sometimes your results come from you. Hey, hold on. Maybe I shouldn't be as happy as I am right now. Meaning like, oh, hold on. Okay, yeah. Look, be like, maybe I should calm down for a second. And you'd be surprised how results can come from you just being honest about yourself. And I know a lot of people don't talk enough about development when they're talking about helping somebody have a successful career. So many people put so much on the outside stuff. Fix your resume. Here's some job search tips. And all this stuff is just distractions from what you really need to be focusing on, which is advocating, which is you need to be clear on what you want, but it's hard for you to be clear on what you want because you've been such a people pleaser for so long. You don't even know what you want. I can't build you a job search strategy for a job that you really don't even really want, but this is just the job that seems right to take. You wasting my time and your time. You want me to help you find a job that you really don't even want? Friend, what we do that at? Right? But when you start getting clear, like, look, man, I'm ready to have a career that I can thrive in, that I can feel good about, that is in alignment with what I need, and that can provide the life that I want. This is when you are able to excel because you're no longer concerned about trying to be a perfect fit. Everybody want to be the perfect fit for the job. You don't even know what fit you are for you. How are we so eager to meet company expectations and we have no clue of what our expectations are? That's how you feel stuck. That's how you start feeling lost. That's how those emotions of, girl, I just feel like I don't even know no more. Because now you are so just caught up in the cycle of having to produce. And you don't even know what you want anymore. Or if you do know the things that you want, it seems so far-fetched to you. Because there's so many other things in view that your dreams and your goals and your expectations they seem so far away. But when all you got to do is just move those things out the way, that goal, that expectation that you have, that dream that you have, it'll appear right here and it'll be so clear. So like I said earlier, this for May, I am doing role mapping sessions. If you're ready to get clear on what you want, right? On your goals, on the things that you want, and you need a action plan, because I'm not just about talk. And that is the huge difference between my free content, which is my live streams, my podcasts, my blogs, and the difference between what it is to really work with me. Because that is where we do get into the action side of it. That's the side where I help you to get clear on what you need to do. Because on here, it's just about me just saying stuff in the open. Like, okay, but when you work with me one-to-one, I get my eyes on what you need. So if you do need help with having a clear strategy, right? Being able to identify where you are now and what it is that you need to be doing next, or what needs to be the focus, or even being able to identify like what are those blind spots. Like, Alicia, I just don't know what is having me to feel stuck. I advise that you book a session with me. Also, I do have a podcast that I do, so go ahead and check those out. If you guys do want to get exclusive content from me, you can go ahead and sign up at careert.me. Also, if you want to know and to be able to identify what is holding you back in your career, I do have a free quiz at IamAliciaPerkins.com/quiz. And you can go in, take that quiz to find out what is holding you back and get strategies on how to overcome that. You guys know that I do have my group program, The Best You. This program, it really combines advancement, it combines leadership training, and also personal development for somebody who is wanting to get clear on what their next move is and land more senior roles. And so that is the ways that you can work with me. Or if you want to work with me and you're not sure which would be a good fit, just send me a message on LinkedIn and we can definitely chat more. I go live every Tuesday and I have decided to add in some Thursdays. So I do go live every Tuesday and some Thursdays at 8:30 Central Standard Time. So you guys are able to come in, engage, and connect with me on a weekly basis. And so I will let you get back to the rest of your day. Bye.